Welcome to the conversation. It's not the scripted kind, but the kind where you lean in and God leans back. So let's get real.
Welcome. Welcome to the conversation with Ken and Gill. We're glad to have you here with For Real with Audrey. I met Ken and Gill through a mutual friend. They are in the UK, and there's so much wealth in both of them that I thought it would be really pretty incredible if we talk and share with them. They are married. How many years have you been married?
56.
56 years. And I love the way they still look at each other with sparks in their eyes. They continue to finish each other's thoughts. They've learned this communication thing, and it's pretty amazing. So we're going to have two sessions with them. The first session, we're really going to talk about family, what that looks like, what it takes to have a strong marriage of 56 years. And the second part of this interview is going to be about walking in Christ, the life of Christ in us, as us, and through us. So let's give it up for Ken and Gill. So start from the beginning. How did you all meet? How long was the courtship? And just go wherever you want. I will occasionally ask questions, so give me a little pause that I can ask questions based on what you all are sharing. Okay, let's do it.
Right. Do you want to go?
I don't mind. We met on holiday in 1969. It was an activity holiday, and it was only a week's holiday, was it? I can't remember now.
It was a shortish holiday at an organisation called Holiday Fellowship, and the particular holiday that I signed up for was pony trekking, canoeing, and sailing, I think.
Yeah, and walking as well, I think.
And walking.
Yeah.
It wasn't walking.
No.
Anyway, when we went on this holiday, the organisation usually had a leader and what they called a host. But they made an announcement to say they were very sorry, but there was nobody who was there to act as host for the group. So if there was anybody who would like to volunteer to be host for the period, for the week, or whatever, I think it was just a week, then they'd get a free holiday. So I took advantage of that and said, right, I'll have the free holiday, thank you very much, and I'll act as host. The result was that I didn't do the canoeing or the sailing. I did do the pony trekking, but then I also had to go out and take people on. The leader would lead people on walks, and I was the one who had to go at the back of the group just to make sure that all the elderly ladies and gentlemen who couldn't walk as fast as the rest would not be lost on the way. So that was how that happened. Anyway, okay. Gill was doing the canoeing and the sailing and pony trekking, and I also had to organise some of the entertainment for the evenings. So I had to sort out various bits and pieces for quizzes and a little concert and all those sort of things. So that was part of my role. That was where we met.
Yeah. Just getting together.
Together. Then at the end of the holiday, we'd obviously got together, and Gill was not too keen to go home, so because she'd found her love, she thought, maybe. And so she deliberately missed the train home so that she didn't have to meet up with this boyfriend who was arriving at her home for the time when she arrived, when she was supposed to arrive. So she deliberately missed the train and rang her mum and dad saying, "I'm sorry, I won't be home because I've missed the train." Well,
I'll be home late. Very naughty, very naughty.
Anyway, a little bit of naughtiness in that process. So that was when we met, and then I was living up in Lincolnshire, and Gill was living on the outskirts of London. We communicated and visited each other on a couple of occasions, and then I proposed.
It was before.
What was the month?
We'd met in July or August, I can't remember, but summer holiday time. And then Ken proposed to me, it must have been November, I think. So not long afterwards.
I proposed.
It's a fast mover.
Yeah.
And then we were married the following Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your background in terms of your faith or whatever? How did that play into the decision to marry?
I think the background I think I would emphasize is we were both we both had the blessing of being in loving families. Gill had 4 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, I'm the eldest of 5 children. Yeah.
And I was one of 6. I had 2 older sisters and then 3 older brothers. Or 2 older brothers and 1 younger brother, I should say. So,
okay.
And
so both of you came from strong families.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And so, just a tidbit here. What can you speak to the audience about the need to have strong families and them being involved in people uniting in marriage?
It's an interesting sort of combination question. I think that the beauty of certainly what I experienced was parents who'd gone through the war years. Where I lived on a small farm. My dad farmed. I was involved in doing work on the farm sort of during my youth, and my brother, my eldest brother, was doing part of the farming alongside my dad, and so there was always a right balance of loving care, of being expected to be involved in what was going on at home, and of being honest discipline and all of those sort of things. So it was very much a good environment that we knew, and knowing that each one of us in the family were loved.
Well, I think for me, one of the things that stands out for me is, I say I was the eldest of 5, but my father had been a marine engineer, and then he went in and he was in what's called the Home Guard, I think. So he didn't actually go away to war. He was a lot younger than Ken's parents. But at a certain stage, when I was in my teens, I think, he started doing wood sculpture, and he started taking classes, not going to a class, but taking classes. We came from the New Forest, which is down in the south of England, and he knew his animals very well, and he knew his wood, and he was an extremely talented man. But he still had to carry on because my mum didn't have a job. She had to look after us 5 children. But between them, they decided that he was going to give up work and go full time in wood sculpture, and she supported him in this.
It's beautiful.
Which I think, yes, was beautiful. In fact, he did extremely well. He was on television, he did very well in those days. That was back in the 1960s, and then unfortunately he died when he was only 55. So that was tough, but it was, as I say, my mum's support for him in saying, yes, we can do this. And they never looked back on it. So yeah.
How did family life change after your father died? My father died at 54.
Oh, same age then, yes.
I miss that. I miss that piece. You know, he was a great father. So how did it impact your family?
Well, I'd left home. Ken and I were married by then, and we had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. So we were living about an hour away from my parents' home. Okay. I think my brothers and sisters supported my parents. They lived a lot closer, and they were able to support my mum. But yes, it did. I think the thing I missed most about my dad was that he was absolutely wonderful with children. He used to throw us the most wonderful imaginative parties when we were kids, take us out on treasure hunts into the forest and things like that. And he would have been a wonderful granddad, and he never got the chance. And he would also have been delighted because, as I say, he was an artist. We have one granddaughter who is an absolutely brilliant artist, who was also keen on amateur acting, and we've got a couple of grandchildren who are very keen on acting. So it would have been lovely for him to have seen them, but that wasn't to be. So, so that was tough, yeah.
Yeah. Good. So here we are. We're married. We have 2 children. What did life look like?
Yes, well, we had 3 children then, didn't we? We've got 3 children, yes. It was hard work.
Yeah. I think during the time, I think after around the time just before the 3rd one was born, I started in business on my own, and so that was I was out selling every day around to the local retail businesses, to the shops, selling fittings for their interior fittings, and so it was tough. We sort of went through some sort of hard times, but it was good. We were then, the business came through, and we were able to sort of keep our heads above water for the years, and I think I ran the business for 43 years.
That's good.
When I retired. So
yeah, I think it probably took a lot of sacrificing on both your part, because the bond between you two is absolutely amazing. And so what I'm trying to get to is how you resolve the bumps and the sacrifices you all had to make. What would you say to couples? Because a lot of couples are entrepreneurs right now, and it's long hours. Now that you're beyond that, what 3 things could you share with a young couple that will help maintain the bonding that I constantly see every week between the 2 of you?
I think, well, obviously we love each other.
Yeah.
It sometimes doesn't feel like that. No, every day we are aware of the love. We're aware of the privilege that we live with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we have been. Um, we can't lay claim to having made our own blessing. Um,
Yeah.
we know that the blessing has come to us in so many ways. We're blessed about where we live. We're blessed about living in a peaceful country. We're blessed in not being in a war zone. We're blessed in all sorts of wonderful ways. We, we've been able uh, to live comfortably during the course of our lives. So that there's so much involved in that. I suppose what we would say is we came, I suppose in the early days of our marriage, we lent on a level of faith. I think that I came with a clear sort of background, the Church of England background. Jill was the United Reformed Church,
Yes,
wasn't it?
but
But really, sort of, but both we'd, and then we came into a different form of faith, sort of in our early years of marriage, and then got involved in the sort of charismatic movement of the 60s, 70s, whether it's
70s, 80s, 90s, whatever they were, a
yeah.
bit later than that, yeah.
So so we were swept along with some of that sort of experience.
And our children were very much involved in the churches that we were at, particularly in the church when they were older teenagers. And our daughter Becky used to play. She plays violin, and she used to play in the worship group. And but both boys used to be involved as well in different ways. I think Paul, our older son, even at about the age of, I don't know, 17 or 18, was asked to be on the ministry team to pray for people.
Beautiful.
So that was quite something. And I think Michael, yes, I think when we had big meetings, Michael, our youngest, who now lives in Australia, he was, if there was children needing praying for, he was asked to pray for them. So they were all very much into the faith, and still are, aren't they? They're all still Christians, our children, and their husband and their wives, the two boys, are Christians too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
good.
I think it's very important to take note that you all came from a solid foundation and you kept building on the foundation that you came from. And now your children is building on the foundation that you gave them, which is the way it's supposed to be done, line upon line, precept upon precept, going from glory to glory to glory. And somewhere, at least in my country, we kind of got it wrong. People felt like they didn't need each other, and careers became more important than family. And if I don't like the way you look or you did something to me, that's it. It's over, with no thought of reconciling and fighting to keep the structure, the covenant of marriage. I noticed that when Ken is speaking, you're looking at him with these doting eyes, and as soon as you start speaking, Jill, Ken shuts up. He just shut up, and the Jill starts talking. That's honoring each other. And it's something you don't see a lot. And so every week when I'm with you all in the group, I'm like, oh God, this is what it looks like to be one. Where I've seen famous couples on TV where one dominates the conversation, and I see the other one sitting beside that person, literally craving for attention or give me a chance to speak. And yet, the word for the two of you, you're balanced. You're balanced in such a way that it really complements each other. And so I'm going to be quiet a minute, and you can feed off what I've said, anything you want to share to help someone else marriage that may be struggling.
I think we do support each other, you know, and yes, we've supported, well, tried to support each other all the way along. And I think in our home life, even now, we tend to balance, because I cook most of the meals and do the housework and whatnot, and Ken does other things. So we've balanced all, you know, we just know, and we both of us love getting out for country walks.
Yes.
So there's very few days when we don't go out for a walk for at least 3/4 of an hour. And thankfully, we both enjoy that, and we're both able to do it still.
Yes.
We a year ago bought ourselves electric bikes, so we go out cycling on those now. Not every day, but enjoy doing that.
Okay.
Our daughter and her husband still live close by, and their son. The two girls are further away. I say our youngest son lives in Australia with his family, but we see them like this once a week at least. And our older son and his wife in the north of England.
Mhm.
So you know, their children as well. So you know, that's all works. We get on well with all of them, don't we? So it's, you know, that's really nice.
That's beautiful. And I know you two do boating. Um,
That's right.
and it's amazing you met at a boating activity or whatever, and you continue to do this boating thing, whatever it looks like.
There's an
It's a bit
interesting,
different, yeah. But
it's an interesting balance with boating, because it, the the boating that we do is on the canals in the UK, so it's we don't go offshore or anything like that. We're not out into the sea, but if you've ever seen canals in the UK, you'd see that they have things called locks, and Gill is a keen. She does all the lock work, so she's a very strong lady.
it's only because I don't like driving.
She doesn't like driving the boat, because she's a bit sort of frightened of getting it in the wrong direction or whatever. So I have to do all the driving, and I suffer for it. But and then I suffer, because lots of people come along and say, how is it that it's always the women who do the
hard
locks?
work,
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
it is heavy work to do these locks. And so to give you an idea, we went on a holiday one year, which was about 6 weeks in length. So we were about 6 weeks. In the time we travelled in the boat 425 miles, I think it was, in total. So we went various
Up into the
canals,
Midlands, wasn't it?
and we did 425 miles and 440 locks.
Wow.
So that was a lot of locks, and that's the reality of it. That there's a lot of work involved, and a lot of exercise.
Yeah.
It was funny that last year, in the summer, we were on a boating trip, and we were going through. It's a long, what they call a flight of locks. So it's like a staircase of locks. It's over 20 locks, just one after the other. So that is quite hard work. They often have volunteers helping with winding the sluices. But you share locks with another boat if you're the right width. And we were sharing with another boat. And this lady, this happened to be my birthday last year, that we were doing that particular thing. And somehow she found out it was my birthday. Ken must have told her, I don't know, but he doesn't remember doing that. So she said, it's your birthday. She said, happy birthday. She said, how old are you? So I told her, and she said, oh, good, she said, because that means I've got years and years left of doing this.
That's good. So how old are you, Gill? How old are you, Ken?
Now I'm 79 and Ken's 78.
Wow. And you all are so active.
She's a
So very.
baby snatcher.
Yeah, baby snatcher, yeah.
Okay. So let's get it in because you've opened up another door. Let's get into the health issue. How do you all eat? How do you stay active? And I have one other question. Do you all do date nights? Or is life just a big date to you all? Hello.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
We
We don't do date nights.
Okay. You just enjoy each other company and
We're yeah, we're comfortable in each other's company, and
that's good.
that's that's the easy side of it. We're not great for going out. We're not great for it's sort of we love having friends and family
yeah, yeah.
in here. We have um, meetings with like well the place that we meet.
Yes.
We've got a weekly meeting with you and the others
Yes.
in that particular group, and then we've got another weekly meeting with some people that we met at one of the churches that we went to, and they invited us to be part of that group.
And that's another Zoom group.
Another Zoom group that we
Much more local.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have opportunity to get together with some of them, sort of individually and that sort of thing. So it's all of those sort of things,
And we do. I mean, we very rarely go out for food, and I don't buy ready-made food. It's old-fashioned. It's the way it used to be. I cook vegetables. And we eat sort of fairly healthy foods. I think.
That's great. That's great.
It just comes automatically to us. It's once again what we were both brought up with, and what we're both happy with. So.
Just as a matter of interest, Jill's quite keen on using what my dad, what we had somehow inherited from my dad. We had his dairy diaries, and I think it was diaries that were given away by the milkman when we used to have a milkman come around and deliver bottles of milk to our homes.
Yes.
I think they were probably given or they bought an annual dairy diary, and that particular dairy diary has lots of recipes in it.
It just has a recipe per every week. These diaries.
So
using those, but not all the time.
So she often uses that, and then today she brought in the dairy diary where my dad had written about what cultivations he'd done in the garden, in his garden, at the age of about.
He would have been in his mid-80s then, I think, but he was nearly 99 when he died, and he had rotivated the whole of his vegetable garden, which wasn't a small area, that spring when he was 98 and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
So he was.
I think we're heading back to basics in America. I think people are beginning to understand the processed food has opened the door to many diseases and organ failures and all of that type of thing. And you all are a living example of what eating healthy and being active looks like. So I know younger families are becoming more aware. I have to say seniors too on my part of just cooking meals using correct oils and things of that. It's really educating yourself to what we used to take for granted and coming out of the fast food market or whatever. So kudos to both of you. And so I'm going to transition a little now, and I want to talk about how you all came into the revelation of new creation life in Christ. What did that look like? How did it impact you? Who was first? What was Holy Spirit doing? We've gone through these layers in the church of of the charismatic movement and the prophetic movement and all these movements. And now, um, I don't know at what point the awakening came to you all, but I know the past 15 years it's been a progressive awakening. Not saying it ever wasn't, because I've always been acutely aware of God's presence and who He was and having encounters, but then you come to realize I, I'm dead. I died with Him. I was buried with Him. I'm resurrected into a new life in Christ, and it's pretty phenomenal. How did that happen in your lives?
Hmm. I've got to think now. I can't remember how we actually were introduced to that. I know I used to, when I was, I can't even remember, it was before marriage. I mean, I wasn't going to church much of the time or anything, but I think I used to spend quite, just talk to God as the day went by. I can't remember what about, but just talk to Him as if, you know.
Yeah. So we didn't have the phone distractions. We didn't have the internet and TV distractions. So who else was there to talk to? That's a good starting point, Jill, because I know as a child, I was the youngest child, and
Right.
I had God to talk to. You know, I wasn't carrying a blanket around or a bunny. You just start talking to Him, and guess what? He talks back.
I think it's interesting because for me, um, there's all sorts of colours of, um, to use the term loosely, colours of faith walk that I've experienced. For instance, my sister was converted early um, at a conference that she went to, because she was quite a few years older than me, and um, she then had this dramatic conversion experience, and then decided that she wanted to, rather than carrying on with agriculture, she wanted to be a missionary. So she went out as a missionary to Argentina, and worked in Argentina for, I can't remember whether it was 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe. And at that time met her husband. But um, her faith was very rigid and very fundamentalist, very much the right wing type of faith that was demanding that you needed to say the Jesus prayer to be saved, and so on. And she lived that way all the way until all her life, and she died just last year.
Wow.
And but she was, so she and I would have interesting discussions at times when she lived in the States. She lived in Rochester, New York area. And yeah, so that was a form of Christianity that I came away from, although she was very very sort of keen to have my younger brother and I playing Bible games and Bible quizzes and all of this sort of thing. She really was eager to. She was so passionate in the faith that she had. So that was a faith that I didn't particularly feel comfortable with, and I used to feel very, very uncomfortable also for particularly for my dad and my mum, because she was very almost demanding, not demanding in an aggressive way, but she felt that it was really important that they declared that they were saved and that they were going to be sort of all of that
Welcome
side
to
of
the
it.
conversation. It's not the scripted kind, but the kind where you lean in God leans back. So let's get real.